Hello and welcome to Netizen News, the show that fills you in on all the latest topics trending across Chinese social media. So, without a doubt, one of the hottest topics right now is, of course, the end of China's one-child policy, which was introduced in 1979 in order to control the country's rapid population growth. Yes, that's right. On the 29th of October 2015, the Chinese government announced that all married Chinese couples will be entitled to have 2 children. So, why was the policy scrapped? Well, this may be an attempt to counterbalance China's aging population. Since the policy was introduced, China's birth rate has dramatically dropped as 4 million births were prevented. As a result, this could lead to a tricky situation where the country has a shortage of people of working age who will be under great pressure to care for the elderly. In fact, it's estimated that by 2035, 20% of the country's population will be aged over 65. So, Pampa, do Chinese netizens believe the solution to China's aging population lies in encouraging couples to have an extra child?
Okay, according to my research, most Chinese netizens seem to consider China's aging population as a very serious issue. Raising birth rate seems easier said than done. For example, Zhang Xiao says, a lot of people do not realize that once the birth rate lowers, it is very difficult or even impossible to raise it again. In addition, Xie Baisan comments that those who were born in 1980s or 90s, they would have had babies if they wanted to. And for those who were born in 1970s or 60s, maybe they want to have children, but they are too old for that. However, Fengqing Yundan seems to offer a more positive issue, claiming that the government can increase birth rate by introducing policies to incentivize people to have 2 children. In contrast, other netizens believe that there are other ways to deal with China's aging population issue. For example, a netizen called No argued that we should focus more on improving the education level of the general public instead of encouraging people to have more children. And likewise, Xiao Xiecha also calls for China's society to adopt a new perspective on this issue, suggesting that elderly people should not expect their children to support them.
Well, another consequence of China's one-child policy is, of course, the gender imbalance. As most Chinese couples could just have 1 child, the majority chose to have a son. As a result, the China Academy of Social Sciences estimates that by 2020, there may be 24 million men who will not be able to find a wife. Of course, as there are less women than men, this means that ladies can be even more picky when selecting a spouse. So it's often said that a man may have trouble convincing a woman to marry him unless he already owns a car and a house. So Pampan, do you think our netizens feel concerned about this issue, about the gender imbalance?
Yes, it seems that many Chinese men are worrying about this phenomenon. For example, Ah Hu states that I would have been married if this policy was introduced earlier. And Zhang Qingqiang says, I want to support the new policy with real actions, but I need a girlfriend.
Thank you, Pampan. According to The Guardian, since China has announced its change in family planning policy, companies that make condoms have seen their shares go down, whereas companies making baby-related products such as prams, diapers, and baby milk have seen their shares go up. So judging from this, Pampan, do you think China is on the verge of a baby boom?
Well, that's a hard question to answer, as there seems to be a lot of mixed reactions to this issue. On the one hand, a lot of Chinese netizens are welcoming this new policy. For example, Zhi Shoubuli claims to know many couples that want to have 2 babies, and also declares that time is precious. Let's support the policy with real actions. Similarly, ZYL Xiaogenban also declares that I'm not an only child. I will have 2 babies in the future, because I have not come across anyone who regretted having more children, but I have met people who regret just having 1. Other netizens have also spoken of their support of bigger families. For example, Yue Zhong Nanhai states that having a little sister is the best ever gift for me. She's my angel. I love her so much. Likewise, Only Li has also welcomed the news, saying that Well, this is a really good policy. Sometimes I saw other big families during the Spring Festival, and mine just have 3 members. Well, this is really awkward. However, at the same time, many individuals also declare that they do not want to have a second baby, mostly because of the, well, really high medical and educational cost. For example, 把你喂成猪 points out that there's no sense or no point of having a second baby, like the school fees and medical costs are so high. AS Fluence also complains that the hospital fees for giving birth cost 25,000 yuan. That's approximately 4,000 US dollars. And I spend at least 3,000 yuan every month for imported milk powder. That's a lot. A lot of people like living in the cities do not want to give birth to a second child. Similarly, Love Ren also jokes that if those costs were eliminated, I would be willing to give birth to 5 children.
Okay, well, as China's one-child policy was introduced roughly 35 years ago, Chinese society seems to have accepted it as pretty normal for parents to just raise one child. As a result, there are probably a lot of couples out there who are perfectly content with just one child. Similarly, there are probably a lot of kids out there who do not long for a sibling. So, Pampan, do you think one of the biggest obstacles will be overcoming this mindset?
Yes, indeed. I guess one child may be seen as enough, and 2 children may be considered as 麻烦, that's Mandarin for frustrating. Like Liang underlines this point by stating that people born in 1980s are really having a tough time. They do not have brothers and sisters, and they grow up and they need to support like 4 elderly people and 2 children. That's really a lot. On another note, it seems that a lot of Chinese netizens agree that no matter how complex this situation may be, it is wrong to compare China with other Western countries given its substantial size of its population. For example, 烧糊的卷子 underlines that poorer people have more intention to give birth to 5 or to even more children, and then expect the society to raise them. Just like in Western countries, but it's nonsense. How many people are there in Western countries and how many people are there in China? It's different, okay?
Well, according to our netizens, China will not see a baby boom in 2016. However, given that the upcoming year is the year of a monkey, which is a pretty lucky sign in China, Chinese parents may have extra reason to try for a baby. Okay, well, that's all we have time for today. Bye-bye.